Hey guys, Bill, the Kansas Flamingo chef. Shepherd's pie. Let's make one. To make this, we're going to need to mash some potatoes. Now, I'm a huge believer you should wash these potatoes before you peel them and boil them. Time to peel potatoes. I am fully aware I've got more potatoes here than I'm going to need. In fact, 2 of these probably would have sufficed. But the nice thing about mashed potatoes is you can eat them with anything, so why not make extra? Once the potatoes are peeled and washed, I'm just going to go ahead and cut them into sections, kind of like this. It just helps to create more surface area, which helps them boil quicker, and most importantly, makes them easier to blend. Get your water boiling really well. For this part, if you want to add a little salt, that's fine, but you don't need butter and everything else in this because we're going to add butter and milk when we beat them in the mashed potatoes. Next, we'll need a medium-sized onion, and you'll just chop that up. Get yourself a nice-sized skillet that is good and heat-proof because you have a choice here. You can finish this dish right here on the stove, or you can actually put it in the oven to finish. It's great either way. A little faster on the stove, but it's not a huge difference. You're going to need a pound of meat. Now, this is called shepherd's pie. Do you know a whole lot of shepherds that tend to flock of turkeys or a herd of cattle? I don't. Beef is fine if that's what you want to use. I like lamb. This is shepherd's pie. Use lamb. It's not that hard. Ground lamb. Now, this is not rocket science. We're just going to put our onion here in the pan, and our pound of lamb, or if you want to use beef or turkey, I mean, I guess you can rename it, but to me, it's not shepherd's pie if it doesn't have ground lamb in it. It's just something else. We're going to brown that. Once we get all the pink out of the meat, we're ready to do the next step. There isn't anything difficult here, just browning meat. Once the meat is brown, like it is now, strain off most of the fat. It doesn't have to be completely perfect, but most of it. We're going to turn this down to about medium, and we're going to add a few things. We're going to add about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. And yes, that is Lea & Perrins, the only real Worcestershire sauce. We're going to add a 12-ounce bag each, or 2 cups, of frozen corn and frozen peas. I've also added a little salt, pepper, and garlic while it was cooking because I need seasoning. But we're going to add about a big tablespoon of minced garlic to that also. And as much as I hate ketchup, it actually does need a little bit. It doesn't need a lot. Just kind of swirl it around the top like this. Then just kind of mix this together a little bit. So everything gets incorporated. And then we're going to cover this and leave it on medium to medium high, or medium low even, sorry, for about 3 to 5 minutes before we do anything else. See you in a minute. This is a half a cup of beef broth. To that, I'm going to add about, give or take, a little less than a tablespoon of cornstarch and whisk that together very thoroughly. I don't want lumps in this. I also don't want it to be a giant ball of cornstarch. I'm going to uncover this. Now I'm going to add my broth and cornstarch mixture into this and lightly fold it all together. It's already reduced as the water comes out of the corn and peas. Now the idea here is to bring this heat up and bring this to the point where it's just reaching a boil. You see that happens really quickly. And all we want to do is keep stirring this together as that cornstarch starts to thicken, but we don't want it coming to a hard boil. It only takes a minute or 2 at the most. Now, if you want a little more flavor, this is when you add some other spices if you like. Me, I generally am going to add a little more of my Kinder's The Blend, salt, pepper, and garlic. Not a lot, just enough to bring the flavors forward. And mix that together. All right, this is starting to thicken pretty well. So now I'm going to add in a half a cup of sour cream. And just kind of mix that together. Bring your heat down. Now that's going to thicken really quickly, as you see, okay? So now what we're going to do is top this with our mashed potatoes. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just kind of take some potatoes and just kind of lay them over the top. Now, I just turned the oven on to 350. I like to finish this in the oven, but you don't have to. All I'm going to do now is just top this with some mild cheddar cheese. And of course, it gets the best look coming out of the oven. You could finish it right here on the stove if you wanted to, but I like it finished in the oven. The oven does not have to be all the way preheated. This is just going to go in here for, 15 minutes or so. Just long enough to get a nice crust on that cheese. See in a little bit. Hey, when you take it out of the oven, it's going to look like that. Now, it needs to sit here and sit up for about 10 to 15 minutes before you dish it out. I mean, you can go ahead and eat it now if you want. It's going to be really hot, and it's just going to kind of fall all over the plate. Now, ideally, it's not supposed to be a pie. It's called a pie because of the way you build it. But, man, if you've never had a shepherd's pie made with lamb, you got to check this out. That is the finished product. Doesn't that look good? I mean, it's so good. And it really is simple. I mean, the entire cook takes like 30, 40 minutes start to finish. You can make this, and your family will love it. Give it a shot. As always, if there's something you'd like me to make, if you have a question about a dish, if you just want to ask me anything, whatever it might be, within reason, drop me a line, bill@kansasflamingochef.com. Comment, like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Eat fabulous.